भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. Let everybody be happy, let all be healthy, let everybody see auspiciousness, goodness everywhere, let no one have any sorrow is the prayer that we make on this very auspicious Sankranti day, which also signifies Uttarayana, or the movement upwards, Urdhva Gamana. Those who want to rise from this limited human, as the doctor put it, finite consciousness to the infinite divine self, for them, these are the times which are most appropriate to undertake spiritual austerities and practices. And therefore, in our scriptures, we worship time, Kalaya Namaha, Kala Kalaya Namaha, Kala Titaya Namaha, Kala Damanaya Namaha. In various ways, we worship time and the God who controls and dominates even time, because when things are done at the right time, they yield the right results. So, Sankranti is one such time where if we undertake good spiritual auspicious activities, they are bound to succeed. They are bound to bless us with prosperity, harmony, peace, and this upliftment, spiritual upliftment. Today also is a very, very auspicious beginning of the Veda Gurukulam, though Bhumi Puja has been performed as per the tradition and the Panchangam, but today is when we commence the construction activity of the Veda Gurukulam. And on the other side, we also are working towards developing a state-of-the-art medical facility, a teaching hospital, and a multi-super speciality hospital on the other end. On one side is Veda, in the middle is the Vidya, and on the other side is the Vaidya. That is the new in this place. So far, it was only to do with the education through schools, PU colleges, and degree college now, and postgraduate studies. But now, to this adds, on one side, Vedic education, and on the other side, Vaidya means medical education. If you look at our scriptures, only two professions have been worshipped. One is Acharya Devo Bhava, and the other is Vaidyo Narayana Hari. We worship teachers as gods, and on the other side, if we don't follow Narsimurti's shloka, then we worship doctors as gods too. We never heard engineer Devo Bhava, accountant Acharya Devo Bhava, or any other profession has never been called with this respect as that of a teacher and a doctor. And do you know why? Because God is selfless. And that's why God is worshipped. God does not expect anything in return for all that He does for us. Nature is worshipped because nature does not expect anything in return. It just gives. Paropakarartham phalanti, vrikshaha, and so on. In the same way, these two professions ought to be selfless. Teaching profession and the profession of a medical doctor. Simply because these two are the basic needs of life, education and health. But unfortunately, with the passage of time, both have become commodities being bought and sold recklessly. And the people who know that this can be made into a business, they very well know that the parents would do anything to either educate their children or to save their children from illnesses. And that's precisely the reason why these two have become such flourishing businesses across the world. But India, that stood for such high ideals as Acharya Devo Bhava or Vaidyo Narayana Hari, ought to defy that. We must stand up for our Indian ideal, which is to ensure that education and healthcare is provided free of cost to everybody, to all of them, whoever is needy, without any discrimination, whatsoever. Only then this country will prosper. The day we started selling education, the day we started selling healthcare, the decline of our country began from that day. Somebody, a well-wisher, acquainted me with a book. It's called The Beautiful Tree. It's a very researched, historically accurate book, which has been written by a Gandhian by name Dharmapal. He's a historian and a Gandhian and a very noted, celebrated author. And he talks about Indian system of education not very back, somewhere in 1800s. A survey was conducted by the British to understand the education system of India and what should be done about it. And it said that in every village there was a school. In Bihar and Bengal alone there are 1 lakh schools. Not to talk about other presidencies like Madras or Bombay. However, systematically, the system of education that was there in India has been destroyed. The indigenous knowledge system that we as Indians possessed, which is very, very ancient, thousands of years old, coming all the way from the Vedas, was dismantled systematically and replaced with a European system of education. And all that which was Indian, cultural, spiritual was considered as second-rated in front of the modern colonial European education. And that is the plight of this country, that we believed in it and we changed our ways. And Gandhiji in the same book says that Gandhiji went to London in 1931 and spoke there at the Royal Institute of International Affairs and said, what has happened is India was more educated 100 years back, that is in 1800, than what it was in 1900s. And systematically, the Indian education has been uprooted, and that's how this beautiful tree has perished. And why Indian system was so strong? When Europeans were still finding how to go about providing formal education, Indians were teaching and learning all kinds of knowledge because it was free. Knowledge was free. The teachers were paid in probably grains of rice, coins, a piece of cloth, anything that the parents could afford. There was no fee structure, there was no mandatory fee at all. And therefore all children could educate. And this is a myth that only Brahmins got education and the other castes did not. This is a myth. Everybody had right to education. And it was not very far ago, just a few hundred years back. However, in the last 200 years, everything changed. Education became a commodity. In the name of modernity, all the ancient values were thrown out of the window. Spirituality was shown the door. And now we have a society that we live in without any direction. We have to change this system of education. And it has to begin from the very beginning, from the Vedic education. And it must also cover, as he said, Hale Chiguru, Hosa Veru. Old roots and the new shoots. Both have to come together. And now Satya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam is expanding to precisely do that. On one side, you have a Veda. On the other side, the most modern education in medicine as well as other fields of knowledge through the university. And all this is coming under one university, Sri Satya Sai University for Human Excellence, which will cover from the Vedic education to the Vaidik or the medical education. Everything will be covered under one umbrella of the university. We have, as you know, schools, and there was a need felt for us to have teachers. And when we looked around for the teachers, we found that though there are many so-called teachers, but they are not acharyas. Achariti the acharya. Those who follow or those who practice alone are teachers, not those who simply get a degree. As somebody said, good for a crunchy snack for Yama's buffalo. That's how I joke about degrees. If you die and go to Yama and say, you know, Yama, I am MBBS, and after that I am MD, and then I am this and I am that. He will take all your degree certificates and feed it to the buffalo, saying, this, your certificates are good for this. Now deal with me. Here I come. But All that apara vidya is also necessary to solve the problems of the world, to help the humanity, to help each other. But without paravidya, apara vidya is blind. Both have to be together. Aparavidya, that is worldly education, material education, be it science, humanities, arts, music, anything. Without the spiritual knowledge of the Vedas, the Vedic knowledge is blind. It doesn't know where it's going. But Vedic knowledge without the understanding of the modern education is lame. It cannot take us far in the modern society. Therefore, they must work together. Our children should have foundation of the Vedic spiritual wisdom, and they should build their modern education on top of that. Similarly, in our Veda Gurukulam also, it's not enough if they just learn Sanskrit grammar or just learn the Vedas or the rituals. They also must a little bit of modern language, science, arithmetic. This is a must for today's world. Therefore, in Vedic Gurukulam also, these subjects have been included, although in a limited way. But I would like to see a day when the entire system of education covers the gamut of all knowledge. All that is possible on earth should be learnt and taught here, like Nalanda and Takshashila of yore. And our institutions should stand as ideal institutions, because here the knowledge is not traded, not sold and bought, but shared with all. Apurva kopi koshoyam vidyate tava bharati vyayate vardhante nityam shayamayati sanchayat. The more we share this wealth of Saraswati, the more it grows. The more we try to save and contain, the more it gets destroyed. This knowledge has to be shared. On the university side, in the education side, we have made great leaps ahead. Our university is now training teachers who will go back to our schools and colleges and teach there. These are going to be the acharyas. The Vaidyas were missing. We have 3 super specialty hospitals, the 4th one is coming here. And we need right kind of doctors, not the Yamaraja Sahodaras, who are just waiting to take both money and the life. Somebody was joking, if doctors start praying, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, what will happen to their business? They don't want patients to be cured, because if the patient is cured, then who is going to pay them? So they just maintain the patient. But no, that is because money has come into the picture, and money makes many wrongs. Take out the money from this equation, everything becomes so beautiful. And that is exactly what we are doing. And I strongly believe that anything we do with sincerity, with purity, it has to succeed. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If dharma cannot protect these institutions which are running based on dharma, then the whole universal law of dharma will be questioned. Some days back, some of the senior members of the trust approached me and said, there are so many difficulties running these institutions. I said, there will be difficulties, but it is not impossible. Because if these institutions are impossible to run, then the very law of dharma has to be questioned. The very truths of our Vedas have to be questioned. And Vedas are not wrong. Dharma is not wrong. Therefore, as long as we stand by these truths, Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, there is no way these institutions can be stopped from doing what they are doing. However, just by praying, nothing happens. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. People will not become happy. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. People will not become healthy on their own. It has to be done. It has to be made to happen. And that's why institutions like education, institutions like medical colleges have to be established, where degrees are not sold and bought, but they are shared, they are taught. And I am hoping that our children who are studying in these Gurukulams, be it Veda Gurukulam, Vidya Gurukulam, or the Vaidya Gurukulam, they are the ones who are going to take up this idea of Indian thought of sharing education with everyone, helping everyone. Be rest assured, if you do good, that good will protect you. There will be nothing less in your life. Always more than what you require, but nothing less. Because that is the very law of dharma. And it cannot be dislodged. That is the most permanent law, eternal law. Sanatana dharma, that is. Therefore, we must have faith in what we are doing as teachers, as doctors, as students, as parents, administrators, trustees, in whichever capacity we are a part of these institutions, we must have complete faith that we are doing good and that good will protect everything. As long as we remain selfless, nothing can stop, nothing can come in our way. That is the universal law, eternal law. We have also embarked in this program of Divine Mother and Child through Sarla Memorial Hospital, and many mothers and children are getting benefited in the surrounding area. There is a small gear shift in the medical mission now, which I would like to share with all our doctors here and also the doctors from other Sanjeevani hospitals and everywhere. Here onwards, though we will have super specialty hospitals for the curative side of the medicine, but more importantly, the Satya Sai mission of healthcare will now focus largely on the preventive side of medicine. We will reach out to the villages, to towns, to municipalities, and prevent disease from happening. Because any number of hospitals that we may build, we will never be able to cure all the people. The only way out is that we don't allow the disease to come. We don't allow the sickness to come. And that way we will be able to keep the country healthy, especially when it comes to children and women who are the neglected lot. The breadwinners still go and get their medicine and get their treatment because they are the breadwinners. But when it comes to the women and the children, they are the most neglected, especially girl children. Amongst the children, they are even more neglected. They all will find a place where they can get free education, free health care, and there is no discrimination whatsoever. This is the wonderful ideal. This is Sankranti. This is this transition. This is the promotion from being just selfish human beings to selfless divine beings. That is the true spirit of Sankranti. When the sun rises northwards, it only is an indication that we also must rise within. This sun that lights the Lokas Chakshu, they say, this sun is the eye of the whole world. But there is a sun which is brighter and the source of the light of this sun. Na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, our scriptures say. There is a place, there is a way where no sun, no moon, no vidyuta, no agni, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvavidam vibhati. As it shines, everything else shines in its light. That is the true sun which must rise northwards. That sun is Atman. That sun is Brahman. When we realize that truth, Sankranti happens. And that is the true idea of Sankranti, not just Ellu Bella Tindu Olle Matadi, Til Guda Agya, Goda Goda Bola. Especially, I was telling all these daughter-in-laws go with Ellu Bella to their mother-in-law, say, eat this and at least speak sweetly from today onwards. Enough of your scoldings for the last year. That's not Sankranti. That will happen when you realize everything is one. We are all one. How can you scold anybody? How can you hate anybody? It's not going to happen. So true Sankranti is when you really feel that oneness within, that we are divine and therefore everybody is divine. And with that as our basis, we should go ahead and behave or deal with this world. So I wish all the success to the Veda Gurukulam. On one side, we have some very young priests, Pandits who have joined us for Yajurveda and Rigveda. They're from Tirupati Veda Vijnana Gurukulam. They have studied there. Two of them are there, one Kashi and Krishna. Then, I brought young people here because I thought they can work for 30, 40 years. Kurchan. I was telling the other day, somebody had come, I said our institution's average age is probably 30 years. It means it has a 30, 40, 50 years future. Youngsters are more. So we have on one side the experience of the elders and on the other side the energy of the youngsters. It's a wonderful combination to make sure that this vision lasts long or forever. A lot of children this year as interns, girl interns have joined many of our institutions, girls' schools and colleges. Boys' side, boys interns have joined after graduation. People have come back for post-graduation. In a year, there will be medical college over here. And all these children have one great responsibility on their shoulders. And that is to live up to this great opportunity that has been given to you. If you don't do it, nobody will do it. If we here as an institution don't take up this task, let me tell you, nobody in this world is going to take up this task. Because little selfishness, little expectations are there in everyone except here. So it is a great responsibility. What happens to the country, what happens to the world in the times to come, it largely depends on what our graduates from our university do in the future. And without exception, each one of you have to take up this responsibility. There is no choice. This is a gift, this is an opportunity that has come your way. Take it with great pride, also humility, with great honor, that you are going to work alongside God, to do God's work by serving this society, serving humanity, serving all. Sankranti, we celebrate, we serve everybody. We worship cows, we worship our cattle, we worship the nature, because we get everything from that. We worship everybody. We meet our friends, we thank them, we forgive them for the wrongs. We forget everything that has gone wrong, and we hope for a better future, more harmony, more friendship. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So let this Sankranti bring such changes, not only here, but in the world around, especially as we are coming out of this pandemic. And we look forward to a year which is going to be much more healthier, happier, prosperous than the previous year. Let nobody have any sorrow. Ma kaschit dukkham apnuya. This is the prayer that we make. To all the devotees from around the world who are listening to this program, to them also we convey hearty blessings and wishes for Sankranti. Though it's an Indian festival, but sun is there in all countries, earth is there in all countries, cows and plants are there in all countries, and we must worship and we must pay our gratitude to them on this day. And gratitude to all the people who make our lives easy, who make our lives comfortable, our friends, relations, and all members of the society. We express our gratitude on this wonderful day. It's an occasion like Thanksgiving in India. And the one who lives with gratitude alone knows the true value of life. And we all must develop this gratitude for each other. On Sarla Memorial Hospital, doctors have done wonderful job during the COVID times. I think they got an award, somebody shared. The HR department got an award for managing COVID in with the best practices over here. I think it can be a model anywhere. And difficulties will come. But in difficulties, we get more bonded. In good times, we are not as good friends as in difficult times, we know. So in difficult times, people work so hard. It's a great model for everyone to emulate. Shortly, I will be visiting the construction site of Sarla Memorial and see what else has to be done. We'll do it very quickly. And to all the doctors and other people who are participating in this mission, a lot of gratitude on behalf of all the patients that you treat and on behalf of the institutions that you're a part of. You're most welcome to join hands and work in the Sarla Memorial Hospital in the coming times. Let us see to that no child, no mother, nobody in this country is sick and suffering. Let everybody be healthy, happy. Let all have joy and auspiciousness in life. This is the wish that we all have on this Sankranti day. With this, I would like to conclude the program today.